Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back to the Ohio Patriot Education Network YouTube channel. I'm, as always, your host, AR, the Ohio Patriot. For today's gaming chat, we're going to discuss why I hate pay to wins slash whales in any kind of gaming that I ever play. So, for those that don't know, obviously, for about the last almost 6 months now, it was almost, I believe it was right around July 4th of this year. I started playing the Walking Dead Survivors game, and since then I've been doing a bunch of stuff, and basically, you know, just playing the game like I usually do, and free to play player, obviously. And then basically a couple days ago, a bunch of engineered chaos went down in less than 2 minutes. I ended up almost being zeroed out of my account. Uh, I think the only reason I wasn't is because the dude was like, "Yeah, I'm not this." Like he was like, "Yeah, this dude didn't, say anything to it against us or whatever the case be." Only get hit him a couple times instead of fucking him over entirely. The thing was though, it was a region chief from one of the other regions that smacked my town 3 different times in literally about a minute and a half time span. Took out over 12,500 troops that I had spent the past 3 weeks to a month building up, and then basically was trying to shit talk and be all like, "Oh, but you guys started all this, or people of your clan or whatever were the fucking ones that started all." And I'm like, "Dude, fuck you! Like seriously, it's a bunch of bullshit, dude." And I think that's what it is, honestly. You know, like there was as far as I'm aware, because I wasn't on I wasn't on the season 2 map, because apparently it's like the way that this game works is after season 1 you go like you have like 4 different regions on a different map, and there's a bunch of kill events going on in that. And that's what they're called, kill events. And it's basically you attacking other people's towns and doing X amount of damage and fucking up their troops and stuff like that. And it's not only just a kill, but it's like wound essentially is what it also is labeled as and stuff. And you get certain rewards for doing X amount of them is what it is. And my thing is, you know, there's a reason why I left that fucking map for like 2 weeks and went back to the original 409 region that I'm part of during that whole time, because I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna have my fucking town wiped out is what it is. And then for all this bullshit to happen, and I was talking to some other people from other clans and stuff like that within my region, and they were like, yeah, apparently it was like your old leadership were the ones that were doing all kinds of crap or whatever the case be and building towards something. And I don't fucking know, man. I think the real problem is in a lot of cases communication across the board from people. And the sad part is like what's also funny is that I'm basically considered leadership in this clan to some cases, but like nobody really wants to like directly speak and be like, "Oh yeah, this is what's going on" or whatever the case be, which would have been nice to know, honestly. Um, because from my understanding, all we were doing was basically building things so we could get a bunch of camps, is what it was, within our territory, and be able to take like a bunch of fives and sixes, or I should say, a bunch of sixes and sevens and eights and stuff like that for survivor camps, and actually have like better rewards, and eventually get to a point where by the time the season actually ends here on December 12th, that we would actually have enough stuff to have um the actual rewards bonuses is what it was for the region, because apparently there's like a whole bunch that don't come up until like the very last day when everything's settled is what it is. And yeah, to know that we basically got fucked like 2 weeks early is what it was. And like all these other regions and stuff like that are just trying to fuck us over and stuff is a bunch of bullshit in general. Very bothersome. I'll say that much about it, dude. Very, very bothersome. And it's one of those things where I didn't come there to fuck with anybody. I didn't come there to pay a bunch of money. I just became part of a fucking, bunch of players in a clan here to do what needed to be done and fucking, you know, just actually cooperate as a team, essentially what it is, and just have fun playing a game for free. And what's sad is, and this is something I heard from one of the people that has now quit, they were saying how they had originally played in a different region for like several, I think it was about the last year or so is what it was. And because their other region was like in season 4 or something like that now. There were people in that other region that they called whales paying at least $10,000 a month to play this game. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck? First of all, like, who the fuck has $10,000 per month to blow on a fucking game, dude? Like, that's insanity right there. That is fucking pure insanity, honestly. Number one on that. And number two, what the hell kind of job do you have that you can afford that shit? Or are you one of these people that are like buying people's stolen credit card information off the dark web, which makes a lot more sense, honestly, on that one, for like pennies on the dollar, and then you're gonna go and basically charge up a bunch of shit on other people's shit is what it is, dude. Or you're some kind of scammer or something like that. That would also make sense, by the way. Yeah, it just seems nuts to me, dude. It just seems totally insane to me. 10 grand a month to pay to win. Now, granted, there's also other various levels from my understanding. Like, that was like the higher end people, which I'm sure there were several dozen from what they were saying, if not a couple hundred for that matter. But then there was also the other people that were like, you know, $5 here, $10 there, or it's like a couple $100 or whatever the case be. And it's like, even still, man, like, what kind of job are you doing that you can just piss away cash like that? Like, that's just nuts to me. Because honestly, you know, as someone who is super pro 2A and, you know, I love me some guns and stuff like that, dude. Like, if I had 10,000, you know how many fucking guns I could buy for $10,000 right now? Like, holy shit, man. You know how much I could do with $10,000 right now? A lot, man. Talking about at least $120,000 a year that people were blowing on this game, dude. And I'm just like, bro, you know how much land I could buy in the state of Ohio for $120,000? A lot of fucking land. Like, several plots of land, honestly. And yeah, it really is just priorities, dude. That's what it is. I mean, hell, for $120,000, I could probably build a fucking bunker someplace. Not a very good one, obviously, but like, you know, something. Or a shop or something, man. Jesus. Yeah, it's just fucking insane to me, dude. To think about that. $120,000, dude. On a game over a year's time span. Crazy shit, man. I don't know, man. It's just nuts. But yeah, needless to say, it sucks. And, you know, I was in communication with one of the other guys from our region, from another clan and stuff like that. And he was talking about like, oh, well, it was your people that, you know, started this whole thing, whatever the case be, and we're shit talking everybody and whatnot. And I'm like, I didn't see any of that, but you know, it's whatever. Who knows, man? I feel like the whole thing's a bunch of shit though. And you know, whether it be this game or a microtransaction game and stuff like that at that point, the problem is when you put in place a scale that makes pay to win an option, that's basically what it leads to, is people trying to fuck people over is what it is, dude. And what's fucked up too is I was actually looking at, after this C234 guy almost zeroed my ass yesterday. Or actually, it wasn't yesterday, it was Saturday night is what it was. But yeah, the thing that they give after the attacks, which is like rain after, or sunshine after the rain, I think is what it's called, or something like that. So with those 3 attacks, it basically gave me like 200 something speed ups and stuff for training and whatnot. And I was figuring this out. So at minimum, in that 12,500 troops that I lost, there was at least like 4 something thousand T8s at that point. And obviously what I mean by that is it's you obviously have levels of training and stuff like that, and it's, you start out with a tier 1 fighter, and then it goes tier 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And so yeah, we just go with T on that is what it is. And so it was basically tier 7, tier 8 is what most of the shit was that was knocked out there. Actually, as far as I know, it was all the stuff that was killed during that time period. And the thing of it is, you're talking about weeks to months worth of work for me to get there, man, for that 12,000 troops. And on top of that, then, you know, like that 200 something speed ups don't do shit, man. When you're talking about it takes at minimum like 4.5 hours per set of like 200 ish T7s and the T8s that I have left. So if I was able to even replace that 12K, it ain't gonna happen, bro. It's just not gonna happen. You're talking about maybe about half of that out of the stuff that I was given for free. So yeah, it's definitely a way to fuck you, is what it is, dude. And like I said, what pisses me off the most, honestly, it's actually twofold. It's the fact that happened to me out of nowhere because I felt like a sucker punch, honestly, and to lose that much of my go-to stuff and stuff like that. And it wasn't only me that got fucked over too, by the way. It was pretty much everybody in our clan got attacked by that clan and a couple other clans for that matter. And it's people that are going to sit there, and I could see if it was like, okay, let's go ahead and just, smack these people like one time a piece or something like that kind of thing or whatever. And then maybe be like, oh, the people that were actually instigating stuff or whatever, maybe they get like 2 or 3 hits a piece or something like that. That's what it is. But the thing of that is, you don't go around and people who had nothing at all to do with anything, man, you just randomly hit them. It's just fucked up, man. It's just super fucked up. And I don't know if I was hit because I was building part of our base or whatever, but it's like, dude, you realize that there are things in there that you have to get as individual shit, and it requires like time of building and stuff. So if they're gonna get after me on that one, that's bullshit too as well, dude. Because it's like, no, I was just trying to get my fucking shit passed, is what it was at the time, dude. So yeah, to me, it's a bunch of crap in general. And like I said, it pisses me off because it was like weeks of my time wasted now, is what I feel like. And then on top of that, when you have this dude jack like almost 6 million lumber off my ass that I've now spent, again, days to weeks acquiring that I can never get back, because that's one thing they don't actually give you in the actual things after you're attacked and stuff like that. All they give you is the veggies, the water, and I think meat is what it is, because those are the actual things you need for troops and stuff like that. But yeah, they don't give you any fucking lumber at all, dude. So, or bullets for that matter. That was another big thing that was taken from me. It was a couple million of those as well. And yeah, it just fucking irritates the shit out of me, dude, because it's like, you're talking about resources that I can't replace, and then troops that I physically lost that I didn't need to be losing like that. And yeah, it just blows, dude. It really does. And now, like, looking forward to this whole thing, I'm like, okay, so I'm just now getting towards the point where I'm building almost everybody as T8s right now. For me to get to T9 in this game, to build up my stable and everything else like that, it's going to be like another good like month or two of just building shit. And that doesn't include obviously like speed ups and stuff like that, which is going to cut off some time and stuff here and there. But yeah, eventually to the point where you would get to like T10 status of like level 25 and shit, dude, it's going to be months of fucking time. It's probably going to be like a year from now that I would get to that point. And it's like, is it even worth it, honestly, at this point to me? Like, if I know there's just going to be jackass fucking pay to win whales out there doing that to fuck me and other people like that over, dude, it's like, is it even worth it to play this game anymore? My thing is, it's like, I don't know. I hate to leave things, because I feel like I've already invested like this much time into this. It's like, for that one thing to like fuck me like that. It's like, I don't want to screw myself like that. That's what it is, man. Like, yeah, I could be doing things with my time, but like, honestly, like, it's a distraction, I think, at this point, and it's not like I don't do other things with my time. Obviously, I'm on here doing this right now. I'm on, I do a lot of other stuff on this channel from time to time, and to me, it's just like it's sad, is what it is, man. It's sad that you have people that think that they can come and fuck you over. And what's even worse is looking at the guy who attacked me. It's some French motherfucker. Like, there is a reason. There is a reason why America beat some British ass and took our country by force in 1776, baby. And it wasn't really the fucking French that were helping us. Those pussies were fucking off doing their own thing, is what it was. Through most of the time period then. Like, there might have been one or two of them that actually, like, gave a fuck, but not really much, is what it was, dude. And then, yeah, they've been basically a pussified country then some, dude. So, in the long run, do I think that country's going to last all that much longer? No, I don't, actually. We could talk, like, obviously I'm going to try to make this as a gaming chat, but I could go into other topics as well if I really wanted to. I could turn this into kind of a grandstand if I wanted to. But, yeah, when you're importing, outside forces into your nation, the third world specifically, into your country, it's like, yeah, dude, you're probably not going to exist as a country much longer, is what it is. And, I can sort of say the same thing with America here as well, with our open border system as well on that one, dude. And it's a bunch of shit, though, either way. And like I said, it just fucking irritates the fuck out of me, dude. Because I'm assuming that the guy that attacked me was some fucking French businessman, honestly, at this point. And I think that even makes it much worse. Because, again, like, it makes sense why he'd be able to pay to win if he's sitting there, 10, 12 hours at the fucking work or whatever, and then maybe he plays as maybe he's like a CEO or something like that, and like plays in this fucking office or whatever throughout the day and shit. I don't know. Hard to say, man. Hard to say. But yeah, the worst part of it is that we now, because of all this, we had our region chief for our region 409 leave. We had, I'm trying to think now. So we had that dude leave. We had the chick who supposedly was instigating a bunch of the shit. She dipped out, claiming like real life work issues, which she was talking about for months now anyway. We've had like 4 or 5 people since then all dip and go to one of the other clans in our region. We've had one of the other guys that was one of our high level heavy hitter guys basically straight up say, hey, after this season is over, which is like 13, 14 days from now, he's going to be leaving the fucking game because it's taken away from his actual real life work and stuff like that is what it is. And yeah, it just sucks, dude. So you basically have had like a good like 10% of our entire clan decimated in the time span of like a day and a half. And I don't know if I could really continue on, honestly, man. Like, I mean, I still want to be there and stuff. And I would like to see exactly what season 3 is all about, because obviously that's only a couple weeks from now is what it is. And I know right now we got season 4 and 5 to look forward to in the future, like months down the road, probably a year down the road is what it'll be. And I know by the time we get to what a lot of people are now looking at as season 6 and shit, that'll be interesting. I was looking at the actual Discord earlier for the game here, and they were talking about how you had what was I going to say? Yeah, they were talking about region mergers and stuff like that. So I don't know if that's going to happen, by the way, for us or not with season 3, because there was talk of that too as well, of us like merging over with other people and stuff like that, and it was like into like another region or something. And I don't know if that's going to happen or not. As far as I'm aware, you have to pay for it now instead of it actually being like a free thing that you can pop over to one, which is kind of bullshit too, by the way. If you're going to be doing like if they're going to actually be doing that kind of mergering and stuff like that, like that should be a free ability, like one-time shot for anybody that wants to, man. So I don't know, man. I don't know if it'd be worth it, or if we should just stay where we're at anyway. But it sucks in a lot of ways because it's like, you know, you talk, like I said, we're talking about, almost 5 months that I've been playing this game now. Oh, wait, is it 5 months or is it almost 6 months now? July, August. No, it's almost 5 months now. I should have been able to check my days, but I can't remember exactly what it was. It was like 150 something days, I think is what it is now, or 140 something days, something like that, of consecutive logins and shit. And yeah, it's the whole thing, dude. And like, like and the thing with that is too, as long as you're like in an active clan in this game, like you can get really strong really quick, is what it is. And I realized very quickly, like the real problem I do have with the game actually when you're starting out is they need to have like a couple of guys that like tell you straight up, like, this is what you should do here, this is what you should do here, this is what you do here, whatever the case be. And it would be a way for you to get ahead much quicker, is what it is. Because if I had realized like some of the things I was doing build wise about probably 2.5 months ago or so, I would have changed strategy at that point and done different builds. And I would have been much further ahead right now. Every single thing I was producing right now would be at least a T8 fighter. And probably closer to T9 at this point. I would have had my main stuff pretty much where it needs to be at this point, honestly. And I probably would have actually had my account up to T7 is what it would have been when it came to, or not T7. Yeah, I would have had it up to shit, I think I'm saying now. Elite level 7. That's what I'm thinking of for the daily rewards and stuff like that. Because with that, at T7 you have, or not T7, Elite level 7, which is the in-game daily stuff or whatever. You have the ability to have 2 more queues to build. So instead of having 4 builders, you have 6. And then you also have the ability to now get epic fragments every day as part of your rewards. So if you're getting 1 a day for a week, that's 7 a week is what it is. And, you times that by, 30 days out of a month, like you can pretty much get something pretty decently high up then as an epic and stuff that you couldn't get otherwise. And yeah, it would be nice to be able to do that honestly right now, dude. And it's unfortunate that, things were, whether it be rubies were spent, haphazardly for other stuff, or whether it be other things for that matter. And yeah, it's a real pain in the ass. One thing I would say though, and this is one thing that does bother me about the game when it comes to the ruby currency, is they don't give you enough. I don't believe. You pretty much have enough throughout the day, because I think it's to the point where I'm at right now. It's roughly about 1,000 almost, or roughly around that is what they give you for opening silver chest, opening gold chest, and then doing the Woodbury Army a day. And the thing of that is you're spending pretty much all that immediately just to try to get ahead, because you're spending like 600 a day on animal for the animal train event every day for that daily reward. You're spending at least another 20 to 40 on I'm trying to think of what the thing's called now. The different things you can put onto the animals for skill abilities. And then so that's like 640, and then potentially you're also buying all the Shane stuff every day for the wood fire chest things, or whatever they're called. And that's another 400 right there. So yeah, you're talking about at least like 1,020 to 1,040 that you're spending out the window right there on just that stuff. And that's if you actually have the the cattle barn open up or not. Because if you don't have that open up and you just have the dog kennel, yeah, good luck because you're spending another 400 then per skill set thing at minimum. But yeah, that's the one thing. Like you have to get to a level there in that game, which I think is roughly up 18. I think is what it is for your town hall. Maybe it's 19 actually. But that's where you need to be to open up that cattle barn and be able to build that shit. And at the end of the day, it's worth it to spend those actual initial what am I thinking now? Yeah, it's worth it to spend the initial like wood, veggies, etc. you need to build that thing and the time investment just to be able to get ahead on that one. So but yeah, like I said, I've spent like honestly in this time period I played this game now, and plus I have more than one account, obviously. It's thousands of hours of time, dude. I mean, now granted, in the same vein of things on that one, it's over multiple accounts and stuff like that. But the thing of it is, even with just one account, it's to begin with there for a good solid month or so before I made another one. You're talking about still several hundred to several thousand hours of fucking time is what it is there. So it just sucks, man, to know that you're spending like X, Y, and Z amount of time on something for some fucking dick stain to come along and fuck you over is what it is, dude. Like, it's really not right, honestly, dude. And my biggest problem, again, going back to everything in this game, is the shields are a joke, man. When you do 8-hour shields and 12-hour shields, but then you make people pay like a fuck ton of clan points for them a day, or it's like 450 rubies or something like that. Like, nah, bro. That should be like 45 rubies or something like that for like at least a 4-hour shield anyway. Or even give me the option to do like hour shields, dude. Because that's the one thing I noticed too with this. If you get attacked like the first time around, it might be the first 2 times actually, where they will give you like a handful of 1-hour shields for free is what it is. But after that, like I noticed with being attacked, multiple times in a row there, number one, there was no shield activation to where I was at right there. And then there was no shields given in the rewards either, for that matter. So, yeah, it's just fucked up, man. And like I said, I'm glad I was on, honestly, that when that was going on, because if I hadn't been, I think this dude probably would have zeroed my ass, dude. I think would have came back around and hit me for round 2. And the reason he didn't hit the one account that I was part of was because I was actually in the account at the time, and he realized I would have been able to shield up real quick is what it is. Because I was like looking at something, and I'm like, wait, why the fuck? Because I did my like out thing or whatever it was for a second. I'm like, wait, why the fuck are my towns on fire? And then I flipped back to one of the other accounts, and I'm like, oh shit, that's what happened. And yeah, as soon as I did that, like it's like shield up immediately, jump back to the account that I was in, shield that one up, and do what needs to be done. And yeah, it fucking sucks, dude. Like I said, there was zero reason for it, except for I think the fact that people want to be a bunch of assholes is what it was, dude, and show that they could do it is what it was. And for others in our region to be like, oh no, it's because you guys or one of your people was antagonizing people. It's like, oh, so who the fuck cares if they were or not, dude? Even if they were being like, oh, come at me, bro. Because the whole point was the whole fucking entire point of the game was for the season region. We had a running fucking truce this entire time in this game between 409, 410, 411, and 412 to where we would each take a corner of the fucking map. We were still on our fucking corner building downwards to get towards different survival camps. And for these people to be like, oh no, you're building too close to our shit. Because we obviously took like way more than a fucking quarter of the map is what it was. And that was the thing, dude. Every single one of these other season region, or every other one of the regions in that season map was taking way more than 25% of that map, dude. Like, they were all taking like 35% is what it was, and trying to knock us out anyway is what it was, dude. So, it's a bunch of shit, honestly, dude, entirely. And then to sit there and be like, oh no, but you guys deserve to get your asses beat or whatever kind of thing. And it's like, says the people who are pissing away so much money a month on a game that in the long run, you know, post collapse, post EMP, ain't gonna fucking matter. And you're gonna go outside with a dead phone and, you know, try to find real water is what it is when things go south. And that's what I think is kind of hilarious about the whole thing, dude, honestly. You have people who spend tens of thousands of dollars a month on these games, but yet they have no survival skills in a grid down situation. And, you know, if and when things go south in multiple countries at this point, you know, and you have collapses of societies and stuff like that, dude, these people are going to die very quickly. For several reasons. Number one, they have no way to arm themselves in most of these nations, because most of those countries, whether it be France or Italy or Germany or whatever the case be, any of those European nations or any place else most of the people are from is what it is, have no Second Amendment, have no constitutional rights for that matter even. And then on top of that, you know, basically it's their countries are, you know, reliant on an active power grid for the most part, dude. And everything that's going on there in Russia and Ukraine and all the fuckery with like potential war through it now, like, you know, good luck with that shit. Actually, that was one of the things that I noticed the other day. One of the guys in, I think it was my clan, or maybe it was one of the other ones that was in like the state chat or whatever, was bitching about some fucking guy. He's like, oh, don't hit this dude. He's from Ukraine and blah, 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 blah. Only has a couple of hours of fucking internet a day and stuff like that. And it's like, bro, no one fucking gives a shit at this point. I fucking don't. Like, the whole goddamn thing's a fucking psyop at this point. And I'm gonna straight up say it like it is, dude. That entire fucking thing, the Russia-Ukraine BS, dude, is a fucking psyop, a goddamn proxy war to fuck over the American people and cause us to be hyperinflated at this point, which has caused that shit from fucking ass clown pedophile piece of shit Joe Biden pissing away a fuck ton of money that shouldn't even be ever sent overseas, dude, or a bunch of fucking weaponry for that matter as well. That should have never left U.S. soil because of shit we would need to fight fucking China in the future in a potential World War III scenario. And yeah, it's fucking stupid as shit to be sending our single-use equipment in a lot of cases that takes years to fucking produce because we don't have, you know, backups to backups in this country. It's all fucking single-use shit at this point. And you have these fucking dumb motherfuckers sending this stuff overseas for other people to use in their fucking BS wars, dude. And no, America shouldn't be the goddamn world police at this point. I'm fucking sick and tired of people thinking that we should be, man. Like, that's the one thing that pisses me off the most, dude. You know, as an American, like, I am fucking disgusted with the pieces of shit in power in this country, honestly, dude. I really am. And no, we shouldn't be fucking giving shit to some other country to fight a fucking proxy war to save the fucking asset bullshit of a bunch of fucking elitist pedophiles in this country, dude. A bunch of assholes who would have left our country and then turn that fucking nation into basically their backup fucking plan is what it is, dude. And that's the only reason we're fighting for Ukraine at this point, dude. Is because they totally use it as a fucking backup scenario, dude. The whole entire fucking country was created years ago to basically be used as a giant money laundering scheme. And that's a proven fact at this point. So, yeah, it's a bunch of shit, dude, entirely. And that's what I'm saying. Like, that's kind of what it pisses me off as well, because, you know, who's to say that some of these people that are sitting there and paying to win in the game I'm talking about right now, dude, ain't using fucking money that was embezzled, basically, from the fucking United States government. Sending a fuck ton of money overseas that I, as an American citizen, a fucking voter in this country, never fucking signed off on. You know, I never signed off on the ability to have my kids or my grandkids or my great-grandkids or myself put into fucking trillions of dollars of debt because of a bunch of old fucking child molesters that are senile as shit at this point. Want to remain in power for 50 to 60 fucking years of their worthless ass lives? Fuck that shit, dude. It's a bunch of crap entirely, dude. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, gaming is good for strategy, and that's about it, dude. And honestly, the way that we're looking as you know, multiple countries right now, and I think the entire world at this point, dude, like, we've all had enough of it, dude. You know, for those that haven't paid attention to what's going on in China recently, dude, that shit's about to kick off there, honestly. And what's interesting is you look back at the history of Chinese governments and shit like that, dude. The last time they really had a revolution was like the 1600s, honestly. It was like the what you call it dynasty that they removed from power there. And yeah, as far as I know, there has not been one in that country since America had a revolution in 1776. And then, of course, you can look throughout history after America's Revolution. You had, you know, the French Revolution a decade or so later. You had other ones after that, is what it was. And, you know, it seems to me like the last one that really hasn't had one yet is China. So it'd be kind of funny if China was the one that kicked it all off, and then it basically like sort of snowballed in every other country then, and we all took back our nations from these fucking elitists, is what it is, dude. From these people who, you know, are a bunch of globalist assholes who want a one world government at the end of the day. And maybe that's what it is, dude. Maybe we just need to strategize in these games and stuff like that, and, you know, realize like, okay, you know what? You're not my enemy as a regular everyday citizen and stuff like that, dude. It's your fucking governments in your country that are your enemy. It's my government, my country that are our enemies. And, you know, we all figure out a way to fucking do what needs to be done, honestly, dude. And revolt back against them. So, you know. And that's the thing, man. It doesn't have to be, you know, some kind of bloody revolution or something like that, dude. It could easily be a you know, non-violent revolt. You know, tax revolution, something like that is what it would be, man. Mass arrest all these criminal politicians, etc., dude. And honestly, I'd love to see that happen. Like, I actually dream of a world sometimes of that being the case, where you just have a bunch of the citizenry stand up to the governments and, you know, topple them like that, dude. And it's just mass arrest and, you know, life imprisonment kind of stuff is what it would be then. But who's to say, man? But like I said, you know, going back full circle into this, it pisses me off. It pisses me off to know that, you know, spending weeks of my life on a game only to have my shit wiped out in a couple minutes, dude. And I feel like that's kind of what it is, you know, going on that, you know, vein of things with like government stuff and whatnot as well. That's exactly what it kind of is, honestly, dude. With debt slavery in these nations, and by these nations, I mean every single nation across this earth, basically, is what it is, dude. You know, we work our entire lives for what? To pay a bunch of taxation into some asshole's pocket that does nothing except fuck us over. Claims to be a lawmaker when they're not. Claims to represent us when they don't. Yeah, it's a big fucking problem, dude. Entirely. And I think it's a problem that's going to be resolved very soon in these countries, honestly, dude, across this earth. I mean, hell, look at Burkina Faso, man. They had not one but two coups this year against their various presidents and stuff, dude. Because you had the one getting installed based on the fact that the old guy was like, "Hey, I'm not going to deal with Islam," and the first guy was like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to deal with Islam," or whatever the case be in this country. And then you had the second guy recently who was like, "Oh, this guy that claimed to be dealing with Islam wasn't dealing with Islam, so let me deal with Islam myself if that be the case." And they just coot against the first guy is what it was, dude. That toppled their government, and then this guy, the most recent one that was some military general guy, toppled it again is what it was. So, you know, it'll be interesting to see. And that's the thing. When you look at all those African nations like that, dude, they're the ones that have been doing, you know, rebellions and revolts for fucking, you know, centuries at this point, honestly. It's like every, you know, 5-10 years, you'll see some kind of regime change in most of those countries because it's, you know, some kind of warlord, dictator type, whatever it is, that rises to power and then eventually, you know, maybe it gets installed by the US government, maybe it doesn't. And, you know, the regime, I should say, when I say it, because it would be like some dude or whatever. And, then eventually you have that being toppled by some other dude is what it is, man. Some outside force or whatever it is, dude. Or, in that case, it could be something where it's like, a rebel leader guy that was put in place or whatever. And then it's like, oh no, got to come in and spread that democracy, even though America's a constitutional republic for that matter. And, they basically just have some military regime change kind of thing over there in these countries, dude. And, have some president guy assume power there or whatever it is then. So, I don't know. 2023 is going to be an interesting time period in history, I think, across this earth entirely. And it will be very interesting to see what happens, especially considering I think it's going to be a lot of engineering chaos across these different, various countries, whether it be United States, France, Italy, Germany, most of the Middle East, whether it be Afghanistan, Saudi Arabia, et cetera, or whether it be a bunch of African countries, South Africa, Burkina Faso, Ivory Coast, all those places like that is what it would be, man. And so forth and so on. And yeah, I think we're definitely going to see, especially when you look at like the Philippines as well. I think it was Philippines is the one that had like a big kickoff earlier this year where they were basically taking out like an entire family that was in their government for like decades and stuff. And yeah, I could easily see that happening in a lot of nations right now, dude. In fact, I think the only reason something hasn't kicked off here in America is because we have so many guns. And people know that it's like, it would basically be a stalemate immediately where you would have, military would have their guns, American citizens would have our guns, and it would pretty much be a stalemate, It's like who fires first kind of thing at that point versus, these other countries that don't have any guns and, they're just picking up random weapons and using them against their fucking, state controlled police force and stuff like that, kind of like what was going on there in China, where you had all those people at the factory and stuff like that, smacking fucking what I call the white coats, basically, because it was all the dudes in the white outfits and shit, and their lockdown stuff, getting smacked with like guardrails and shit. So, yeah. And what's even sadder is the people that were attacking these people were the people that were the new workers at these factories that weren't getting paid jack shit. And it makes sense, when you have these companies over in those countries where they have to install suicide nets because you're working your workforce to death. It's like, yeah, dude, that's just pure modern day slavery is what it is, man. Ironically enough, for phones that most of us are playing games on. So, yeah, just kind of sad actually when you think about that, man. And what's even worse is, you could actually have like, I would say at least a good 75 to 90% of that shit or more be made here in America and be paying American citizens good paying jobs and having actual manufacturing in this country again, instead of us having a consumer type of structure going on right now. We could actually be a manufacturing hub again as a nation. And then it wouldn't really matter if you had some kind of weird, like, pseudo open border or whatever the case be, because you would still have people come in and be able to learn things and actually get ahead kind of deals. It would be, I think, in some cases. Not that I'm for open borders. I think we should have actual security at our borders every single time is what it is, dude. And I think that's the problem right now. One of America's biggest issues right now, honestly, is the fact that we have the open border system going on. But, yeah, anyway. Got a fucking bot in the chat. Go fuck yourself, bots. Fucking scumbag ass motherfuckers. I hate this goddamn bot. The thing I don't understand is, right, there's literally nobody watching this right now. Like, I'm just ranting at this point. And I got a fucking bot coming up in here somehow. Like, what the hell is that? YouTube admins. Like, fix your fucking algorithms, for God's sakes, and make sure these bots can't fucking bust through shit, dude. Without actually being an active user at that point. It's kind of funny actually that I start talking about, phones and people making them overseas and stuff like that. And then I was making them potentially here in the United States, and all of a sudden a fucking bot shows up, right? Very fucking convenient, honestly, on that one, dude. But yeah, needless to say, like I said, it does piss me off quite a bit. The pay to win stuff in games pisses me off legitimately. It always has, dude. Because it's like, oh, I could actually grind out for the next like 3 weeks of my life, or I could just sit here and spend $150 now or something like that, or $1,000 now, whatever the hell it is, depending on how much money people want to throw down is what it is. And it's like, now I could just get ahead right now, kind of thing. And it's like, but the whole point is, dude, is like it brings the actual, atmosphere together as a free to play player because it's like, you didn't spend that time, just buying your way into a game. You actually grinded your way through stuff. And that's the thing I think that bothers me the most, honestly, is it's like, when you have people that just come up in there and they'll, throw down a ton of money or whatever the case be and just buy a bunch of speed ups and buy a bunch of, Ruby packs to get ahead and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, it's all well and good that you're sitting there spending, fucking 8, 10, 20,000 rubies or whatever on a build that would take like 3 or 4 days for the rest of us or whatever, dude, or like a week for the rest of us, whatever it is. But again, where's the fun in that? I understand maybe you want to get ahead a little bit faster and stuff like that, but even still, again, it goes back to the thing of like, where's the fun of actually, sort of being like, hey, I did this whole thing by myself and didn't have to worry about anything else or whatever, versus, oh, I'm just going to throw down a bunch of cash and then, bang, bang, boom, all my shit's built up and stuff like that. Let's go kind of thing. It's just fucked up, man. It really is. And I think that's my biggest issue with a lot of it, honestly, is you got people that'll just sit there and be like, oh, but I should totally deserve to win because I paid all this monies. It's like, nah, dude, like, fuck you kind of thing is what it is, dude. Like, that again, that's the problem, man. Like, with that kind of mentality and mindset, like, again, fuck you is what it really comes down to being. And I think that's the thing that pisses me off the most. It's that elitism attitude is what it is, dude. It's the, oh, I have money, so I think I'm better than you kind of attitude is what it is. And as somebody who grew up poor and has lived poor my entire life, dude, like, it's something that pisses me off, honestly, dude. And it's fighting words kind of shit at that point, man. So, but like I said, at the end of the day, is it really going to matter? In the long run, a year or two from now, when you would have all these different things happen and people would, potentially be, living in a post-apocalyptic world or whatever it is, dude, or, maybe a Great Depression kind of world and stuff like that. No, because everybody's going to be on equal footing. That's what it'll be. You're not going to have rich versus poor anymore. It's just going to be everybody's going to be poor, I mean, I agree there might be some rich people at the top, which would be basically the politicians would just be still, unless we would, deal with those assholes right now is what it is. Mass arrests and stuff like that, what have you. Legal, means to do everything is what it is, dude. Take them down legally is what it will be. And, yeah, it would basically be better off for every country than if that happened, honestly, right now, dude, because it would be those people that would be the problem. And they wouldn't be a problem after that, man, if they would just be in jail already or be in prison already. So, anyway, I'm starting to get pretty tired, and I think I'm going to call it a day. Not call it a day, but, call it a morning basically at this point, and then go fuck around and do some other stuff this afternoon is what it would be. But, yeah, it just sucks to know that, we're living in such a shitty time period, honestly, dude, where, you got distractions, but then you got like actual distraction kind of stuff. And then, like I said, I think the thing that pisses me off the most about my own personal thing with this whole thing, gaming wise, is having spent that time period, having spent those, days and weeks and stuff like that grinding out and being able to build up my troop set to that time, just to have some dickhead who's like way, way higher ranking than I am, and obviously a pay to win / credit card, guy, to just come in there and fuck me over in less than 2 minutes. Is what it was. It was like 111 to like 112 and a half or something is what the time period was that he hit my town. And had he done one more hit, he would have actually zeroed my ass. That's the fucked up part, man. All he would have had to do was send all of his formations, all 4 of them, at me at once, and he would have taken me out entirely. And I think he realized that too. And that's why he only sent 3 or 4, because he's like, yeah, this guy didn't really do anything to me, but I still want to take a bunch of his shit is what it is. And that's why he smacked me 3 times is what it was. So either way, it's fucked up. It's mega fucked up, man. And the worst part of it is, it's not like I can really get like, revenge against the guy and try to hit him back or whatever, because it's like all it would do is kill a bunch more of my troops then. So it'd be like, what the fuck's the point then? There ain't one. You'd be fucked already is what it is. So, yeah, it just sucks ass, man. It really does. It fucking blows. It just fucking blows, dude. So, anyway, I think one of the things I will end up doing in the near future here, especially when I get to Elite Level 7 and get those 2 more building queues, is I'm going to start building up all my hospitals more and more. Because I think that's one of the reasons why I lost so many troops yesterday. Or, yeah, Saturday night into Sunday morning. Was because of the fact that I didn't have the capacity in the hospital I needed to have for the amount of troops that were getting smacked and killed around is what it was. Because the thing was, it wasn't only the stuff that was already, in my formations that got fucked over. It was a bunch of idle fighters is what it was. That also got massacred at the time. So, things that could have been used to potentially make more T8s in the future, T7s that were sitting around, wiped out in a fucking, just like that, man. Blink of a fucking eye. And yeah, that's one of the things that pisses me off the most, man. Like I said, I figured out it was 12,681 troops I lost during that set of attacks. So you're talking about almost 13,000, dude. It's insane. And like I said, when you got about at least a third of that being T8 stuff that I would have needed, and then the rest of it was like all T7 shit, it just sucks, man. It just really sucks in general. But yeah, I mean, we covered a lot during this gaming chat. Obviously, not only just the game there, but like everything else. Now I just noticed there's a person that like seemed to pop in there for a second. And now they're popping out back again. So I'm kind of wondering if it's not another bot coming up in here, dude. And that's why I'm going to end this before those fuckers can try to do some more sex bot stuff here is my chat. So anyway, till later, I will see you guys in the next one.